There's a long-time listener, first-time caller, many-time caller in the Metroplex who calls into radio shows quite a bit. His name is Jerry Jones.
I've heard of him.
But this is where we've heard about less pie, more pie. It's not a damn debate. I mean, it's been great for our drops on this show. We got it all, right, Mike Del Tufo? We've got all
This takes a nice chunk out of the pie.
I mean, this is what he says when Jalen Smith gets signed.
There is less pie.
And that's what he says. Well, that was at a press conference, but
It's true. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I was just playing the hits.
But the debate one, right, is when the radio hosts were going back
Not
and
a
forth.
damn debate, guys.
This is what he tells the local radio show. It's great. It's great for all of us, honestly. And he speaks after every game. Jerry Jones is available after every game, like a head coach or like a quarterback is required to be, like every player is required to be at their locker.
Is he the most available owner in sports?
No question about it.
He loves it. Him and Cuban, right?
Well,
neck
but
and
I don't
neck.
think Cuban holds a press conference after every game. I mean, even if you made it like there's just 16 appearances, I don't think Cuban makes 16 appearances in the locker room out of the 82. Not. But Jerry's makes an appearance every time. He's available every time. And there's one individual, apparently, who thinks that's a little bit too much. You got the Troy Aikman sound? Go for it.
I always believe everything starts at the top, and that's not to say that everything's the fault at the top, but that's where it begins. And you know, we've got a head coach who we know for 10 years has been saying that we're focused on Tuesday, today. That's all we're worried about is having the best practice today that we can possibly have. And that's been his messaging throughout, and the owner's talking about getting on a run and winning the Super Bowl. And they've lost 3 of their last 4. And you've got a head coach who comes out and says, we're going to evaluate the kicker, and then the front office says right after that, probably at a press conference right outside the locker room, that they weren't evaluating the kicker. And all those things have an impact, and it slowly trickles down. And so I think there's a lot of factors that have played into this. Coaching obviously hasn't been great at times in certain situations. Players haven't played great, but the front office hasn't been great in allowing the head coach to do his job either.
One of the reasons why Troy Aikman is fantastic at his job is he has no fear. And he's going to tell you what's on his mind. Telling it like it is, as Howard Cosell always used to say. Telling it like it is. I mean, he's got his name on the Ring of Honor. He's got family, he's part of the Cowboys family. And I'm sure Jerry understands that he's got a job to do as well. And Jerry might deep down think, well, that's good, but let's stir it up. Call me out. I mean, spell my name right?
Right.
But I can't tell you how many players who used to play for a certain team that are in media that will be like, you know what, I got to couch my statement a little bit. I got to see that guy. I got to see that person.
Right.
I don't want to lose my access, that sort of stuff. Well done, Troy Aikman. But I think the hand cramp guy would say that he's carried Garrett for a long time. Through thick and a lot of thin. And I think he's done. I think he's done with it. And it's a totally different rule of engagement now after 9+ years. It's on a prove-it deal, and there's 4 games left to prove it. And as the Cowboys are on Thursday Night Football against the Bears team that desperately needs it. I mean, what's going on there in Chicago with the coach and the quarterback, and what are they going to do? And should we move on? And, so what that he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on Thanksgiving against the Lions, and he did a great job against the Giants. Now here comes the Cowboys. And if they get beat at home, I mean, my gosh, the entire weekend of Week 14, they're going to be 6-7. The Vikings and Packers are essentially in the playoffs right now. The Rams might be able to get the Vikings, but who knows? All the stuff that Chicago is going to come out tomorrow night, desperate, caged, cornered animal, however you want to put it. And here come the Cowboys. This is it. Jerry's done with the playing for Tuesday attitude, I guess. But good on Troy for speaking his mind, man. And this is part and parcel. This is what Lincoln Riley's going to have to deal with next year and beyond. That's who's coming. I would be stunned if the Dallas Cowboys move on from Jason Garrett and they do not get Lincoln Riley. I would be absolutely stunned. because you know the Joneses are going to give him everything he needs, everything he wants, everything he needs. The only thing that Lincoln Riley would have to get used to is who's shopping for the groceries and the fact that you can't get 5 at every position. You only get 1 draft choice every round.
Right.
In the pros, not 5 draft choices for 1 position.
Who are all 5 stars.
Okay, right? Or and when somebody comes free, you definitely get them because you're signing them. That's it.
Just wondering if Garrett is the only guy that can deal and handle and understand the Jerry Jones world.
One of the most surprising scenarios that because again, and you never know. We started the show by saying if you had said 1 month and 1 day ago when the Panthers improved to 5-3 and the Falcons were 1-7 on their bye week, that 1 month later, exactly 1 month later, it'd be Ron Rivera losing his job and Dan Quinn would still have his. And the surprising aspect, one of the most in the 16 plus years of me doing the NFL Network, one of the most surprising aspects was Bill Parcells taking the job of the Dallas Cowboys. We thought that's no way in hell. Mr. I'm shopping for the groceries.
Right.
That's why I'm not here with New England anymore. You got to let me shop for the groceries. Is going to go and say to Jerry Jones, I'll be your coach. And then his press conferences, his stream of consciousness press conferences was literally at the time, because this is what was happening on HBO on Sunday nights. It was like Tony Soprano. It was like the New Jersey boss, just like talking about life in general. And
he dyed his hair blonde.
I mean, it was nuts.
It was crazy.
So if Parcells did it, then I've seen everything.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.